Hi, everybody. I'm going to continue on with the one and only Bob. This chapter is called Enrichment. Remember, they're on their way to the park to see Ivan and Ruby, and there's a tornado warning out there. We're almost to my favorite spot in the park. The great thing for me is that one corner of Gorilla World juts up against Elephant Odyssey, the area where Ruby lives. A low stone wall separates the two spaces, and there's a moat on the elephant side. The sections connect like two pieces of a pie, and my secret spot is right at the center, where I can hang out with my crew. Ivan and Ruby both have access to indoor habitats, which is great when the weather isn't cooperating. The indoor space for gorillas isn't bad. I call it the Gorilla Villa. It has tons of ropes and hammocks and branches to climb. Humans watch through a thick wall of glass while the young gorillas run around like kids at recess. But whenever Julia and I visit, we can almost always find Ivan and Ruby outside. We trudge up a little rise, though it isn't much of a hill. We live in a pretty flat part of the world. From there, I can see just about everything: the park, the parking lot, the creek. Far behind that, every now and then, I could even catch a glimpse of the ocean. My secret place is a little hard to get to, right near the keeper's shed, nicely hidden by trees and bushes. Under a big magnolia tree, there's a bench shaped like a gorilla holding out his arms. Julia likes to sit there and draw. Sometimes she does her homework, which smells like frustration with a hint of eraser. Whenever I visit, Julia props me up on the stone wall that separates Ruby's world from Ivan's. Visitors can't see me, and the keepers pretend not to see me. If they caught any other dog there, he'd be out in a heartbeat. But Ivan and Ruby and I have a history, and I make them happy. I'm what you might call enrichment. That means like an extra good thing that happens to you. At the park, they try to keep the animals engaged with surprises and challenges and changes to their environment. That's what enrichment is all about. The gorillas get watermelons to demolish and boxes to hide in and markers for drawing. The elephants get sprinklers and flavored water and elephant-sized rubber balls. Not exactly like a day in the real jungle, of course, but the keepers try as hard as they can to make life interesting. For Ivan and Ruby, I'm the ultimate enrichment. I'm their best pal. Julia takes me out of her backpack, and I settle onto the wide stone wall. It's my favorite place on the planet because it means I can see Ivan, and Ruby. But I also kind of hate it. Walls will do that to you. And there's Ivan. Ivan, being Ivan, is a mellow kind of guy. Takes the good with the bad and only gets angry when he really needs to. When I complain about the walls at the park, he says walls keep animals in, but they also keep the bad guys out. Of course, gorillas don't have a whole lot of bad guys to deal with, elephants either, so humans step in to fill the void. Dogs? Sometimes it feels like we have enemies galore. Everyone wants a piece of us. Humans sometimes treat us badly. Cars have it in for us. We even get eaten by coyotes, which is kind of like having your cousin invite you over for dinner and then telling you that you're the main course. Although I'd probably just be an appetizer. Anyways, after those 27 years stuck in a mall, Ivan is one of those happy kind of guys when it comes to the walls that are surrounding him. He's so glad to be with others of his own kind. He's cared for by smart and loving humans. I'm more of a water bowl of power half empty kind of guy. I'm kind of negative. Every time I leave Ivan and Ruby, I'm painfully aware that I can leave. Ivan's address is Gorilla World. Ruby's is Elephant Odysseys. And me, I guess my address is the same as Julia and George and Sarah's, 1249 Hinman Avenue. I mean, of course it is. I've been living there for a whole year now. It is. And sometimes I still wake up at night and think, I've got to find shelter, got to find safety, got to find somewhere to belong. I guess I don't want to get too comfortable. Once I'm in my spot, I don't have to do a thing because Ivan and Ruby always know when I'm there. Gorillas and elephants have great schnozzes too. That means noses. Also, I pride myself on staying extra fragrant. It's a gift. Ivan gets to me first. Bob! He knuckle walks up the hill, knuckle runs, actually, and he looks as glad to see me as I am to see him. It seems like I've known Ivan forever. And yet every time I see him, I feel kind of awed. He's so powerful, so huge, like this magnificent silver mountain that just happens to be my best buddy. Hi, Ivan, Julia calls, waving. He turns his head and makes a soft belch, which means I'm happy in gorilla. Maya calls out to Julia from the door to the gorilla's indoor space. Maya's a zoologist, which is a fancy way of saying she has a thing for animals. It was Maya and a lot of other good folks who helped get Ivan and the rest of the mall animals moved to better spaces. Julia unhooks my string and gives me a stern look. No funny business, you, she says, and stay out of sight. Ivan comes up as close to the stone wall as he can get. I was worried you wouldn't come today, weather and all, he says. Another hurricane, I say. It's freaking everybody out. Above me, magnolia branches are swaying and leaves are rustling and shivering. Even the trees seem nervous. What's new? Ivan asked. He lies back on the grass and he wriggles contently, scratching an itch, no doubt. Not much. Had a weird dream last night, I said. You were in it, and me and Ruby and Stella, too. Ivan gazes at the dark sky. Stella. Now that was a great friend. Classiest elephant you'll ever hope to meet. We fall silent. All good with you? I ask after a moment. No point in dwelling on the sad stuff. Kiani's getting on my nerves a bit. Ivan do this, Ivan do that, but she means well. Kiani is Ivan's lady girlfriend. I've never been sure what they call it in gorilla. Kiani doesn't approve of me. She thinks I'm a bad influence on Ivan. I like to think she's right. Ivan is 400 pounds of pure power, but Kiani is 400 times scarier. Trust me, I've seen her in a bad mood. I've also seen her teeth. Make mine look like toothpicks. Ivan and Kiani don't have kids, but there's a bunch of baby and juvenile gorillas hanging around. They call him Uncle Ivan, and they put up with their antics. Ivan's always been a good sport. If I had a gorilla toddler hanging off me, I'd be tempted to use my toothpick teeth. Ivan and Kiani are a lot like George and Sarah, as far as I can tell. They grumble, they cuddle, they help each other, and they tease each other. Sometimes it looks pretty nice. Still in all, when I smell love, I almost always smell worry. Seems like they're tangled together so tightly they'll never unravel. There's a reason I avoid all that mushy stuff. One big difference I have noticed between the two couples, Ivan and Kiani enjoy eating bugs off each other. George and Sarah, not so much. Okay, we'll stop there, and I'll see you again next time. Join me.